My name is Minique, and I'm almost 50, and my hometown is Boston, Massachusetts. I've been an FBI special agent for nearly 14 years now. I've had multiple inspirations to become an agent, but mainly I'd say my upbringing, where I come from, how I grew up, the types of experiences I've had growing up in the inner city of Boston, Massachusetts. So we're talking the housing project in Roxbury, Mass, or a housing project in the south end of Boston. Those experiences, being exposed to, I'd say sometimes excessive crime, poverty, folks who are working hard but making poor choices at times, maybe based on the environment. Being around those issues and those experiences have inspired me to want to keep my community safe and to help others and to serve my country and to just live a life that is always trying to serve others. Well, I'd probably still be a Marine Corps officer. So prior to joining the FBI, I served in the Marine Corps as a Marine Corps leader. So I'd likely still be doing that, but I also still wanted to help my community directly. So it's possible that I could be a law enforcement officer as well on the local level. I'd say the preparation started a long time ago. It started when I was growing up. In spite of the different adversities or various adverse experiences I had, in spite of that, I tried to make good choices when it was easier to make the wrong choices. I tried to study hard. I tried to find mentors in the community who were doing well or at least trying to help the community, and I globbed onto them to try and learn from their examples. I used my experiences in the Boys and Girls Club, in sports, in school, to help me to become a better person all around. So I would say that I prepared myself through those ways, but also academically. I studied hard. I focused. I set lofty goals for myself, even when I was told that some of these things aren't possible, like what I'm doing now. But I still set those goals, and I tried to stay focused on them. The satisfaction of going home every day, knowing that I tried to help somebody. As a supervisor, I have a task list when I show up at the office, but oftentimes I'm spending time providing guidance or direction or just listening to folks in order to help them make their investigations more successful. And then my task list goes out the window. Or my kids need help. I'm a mom of 3, and I spend my time helping them. So at the end of the day, I can rest my head on my pillow and know that I helped somebody, which was, my goal overall is just to serve others. I've learned about myself professionally and personally that I'm never satisfied with average, with just the things that are expected. I'm not satisfied with the word no, or you can't, the words you can't, although there's a place for them, not you can't, but no. I've learned that I can do things beyond what's expected of me, and oftentimes what I expect of myself. Oftentimes we're in the middle of something, some sort of adversity, and we think that it's just not going to get better. I'm not going to accomplish things I want to accomplish. But I've learned that if I go into it with the right motives, and I treat people with dignity and respect, and I have the proper perspective on things, and I see the long term, that I can do anything. Well, I touched on this a little bit before, but I know that when I considered becoming an FBI agent, there was, you're not tall enough. You don't look the part. What's the part? I'm not 6 foot something, perhaps white male or otherwise. I'm not from a certain part of the country. I didn't go to a certain school. I'm a petite African-American mom of 3, and wife, and Marine and just so many other things. There are so many other things that define me, but I find that in defying those stereotypes or those myths of what an FBI agent should be, that folks like me contribute to the overall success of the Bureau because we're different. We have diverse backgrounds, but they all can be helpful in making the Bureau stronger. I can't speak for African American agents in general, but in my personal experiences, I would say that the myth that we're somehow undeserving or unfit for such a prestigious, if you will, agency and position is probably one of the myths. I mean, there are African American agents who have accomplished much more than I have and are far more intelligent, maybe, than I am. But I also know my history, and I know that, yes, I served my country as a Marine. I also have achieved 2 master's degrees and a bachelor's degree. I also, operate a crazy house of kids and husband and dogs to try to keep us all contributing, to society in a positive way. I know that I'm deserving of it because I work hard, and I've worked hard, and I've made the right choices, and I've done what the Bureau has asked me to do, and I do it for the right motives to help others. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things, is that we're not deserving, but when it comes down to it, a lot of us want the same things as FBI agents of other ethnicities and backgrounds. We just bring it in a different package. If I could choose a dream location, I like the idea of the Caribbean. However, I think it would, anywhere with, water and white sands and just an opportunity to take a break and just relax in an environment that's more that's less fast-paced and sort of crazy. I'd probably choose the Caribbean, but honestly, anywhere my family is would be where I choose to be. I mean, I spent more than a decade in Washington, D.C. There was great work there. I had tremendous opportunities, but I learned that being there was not where I wanted to be, even though my family was there. The pace was just offsetting. But it was when I came here to the South, back to Texas, where my husband has roots, where we have family and a support structure. I learned that that's where, my dream location is wherever family is and a support structure and friends and stay focused, set lofty goals, make good personal choices. If you know someone or a group of kids are heading to, a store and they don't plan on buying something, and they're not window shopping, then you might want to avoid that situation. If you know that there are a group of people who are doing illegal drugs and, you want to hang out with them, but you don't want to do that, minimize your time with them, or at least let them know that you're just not into that you have other things that you have going on and you have to make different choices than they're making. Sometimes you have to be the leader in those situations, right? And you have to lead by example with the good choices that you make. I'd say read. I'd say, keep yourself informed. I'd say seek out mentors in your community who are doing positive things and learn from them. And again, set lofty goals for yourself. And, the only person that you have to convince that you can do it is yourself. If you do that, then I think, there's a lot of hope for your future. I think being exposed to other African American agents would help African American citizens, more of them, want to become agents. Once they realize that a lot of us have similar backgrounds, or at least similar goals, experiences that, maybe the same, struggles that are the same, but that we've persevered, and they can see that example. I think that is encouraging. It was encouraging for me, not that I was exposed to many African American special agents, but I just mean good people doing good things in the community. I think that exposure, the Bureau and its efforts to put more African American folks into the communities that we serve, because we reflect a lot of the communities that we serve, that would go a long way to help. You can say a lot, but unless you're showing that it's a reality, that it can be your reality, it falls short. The word balance, I think, in balancing career, self-improvement, social life, family, balance is, unfortunately, I can't say that I have absolute balance. I mean, my days start with getting ready for work, with an endless parade of kids and a husband and dogs coming in, seeking my attention, needing something, needing me to sign something. A game is tonight. A dance recital is later. That's how my days start. And then I go into the office, and there's an endless parade of folks coming in, seeking my guidance and direction. And does that mean I miss some opportunities with friends or family, or opportunities to be more involved in my community? Yes. So there's not much of a balance, but I can say that with all of those things, I put in 100% for each of them. I end up tired a lot, and I work a lot, but I'm satisfied at the end of the day with the effort I put in. And I hope one day to achieve, a balance of all of those things. But as long as the needs of my family are met and the needs of the Bureau are met, then I think I'm doing okay. Again, the Caribbean. I'd like to visit and just relax. Somewhere I can put my phone away, not answer emails, not see a million people that I know, and be there with my family. That, to me, would be a great place to visit. Just the whole idea of the relaxation of it, and the paradise sort of nature of it, that's an area I'd like to visit, I believe. So assuming I have spare time, you don't get a lot of it, but in my spare time, I enjoy reading. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do watch the news just to stay up on current affairs. I like to spend time with family. I mean, we do a lot of family dinners. I like to spend time with girlfriends if I can. But I think reading and just becoming more aware of who I am in the larger, picture of the country and of the world, those are some of the things I like doing. I also love to go to sporting events that my kids are in, and again, I said dance recitals, softball games, you name it. I enjoy being there and supporting them. I'm currently reading several books, and I'm also listening to some podcasts because I don't have a lot of time to read, to sit down and read hardcovers, if you will. So I listen to podcasts. Right now I'm listening to The Soul of America by John Meacham. He's a historian. And I'm also reading, I'm in the middle of former First Lady Obama's book, Becoming. I'm also reading A Higher Loyalty by the former director, James Comey. I've read the hard copy of Lincoln by Doris Kearns Goodwin. I'm intrigued by history. I wasn't so good at it in high school or, middle school, but I really enjoy reading where our country, how it started, where it came from, etc. So those are some of the things I'm reading, but a little bit of each when I have an opportunity. My musical playlist is an embarrassment to my children, let me just say. I listen to music that I grew up on. I was born in early 70s, but I grew up on 80s and 90s music, and so I listened to a lot of that, still on satellite radio. But I think the most embarrassing thing to my kids, and I'll mention it just because it it's fun to embarrass them sometimes as a parent. I have a Kids Bop playlist. So as kids travel, I have children from 20 years old all the way down to 9 years old. And I'm aware of what they listen to. I'm aware of what, I have on in the car. And so I have a Kids Bop playlist. And the funny thing is that even when they're not in the car with me, I listen to it and I enjoy it and I sing to it. And I don't have to feel like, words that I wouldn't want my kids using are going to be in my mind when I'm done listening to it. So yeah, that's my playlist. Yeah. I think in order to improve its recruitment of African Americans, and just including African Americans in the Bureau's mission, I think this was necessary to show folks that in spite of what they may have heard, there are very accomplished, very just successful African Americans who have represented the Bureau in the past and continue to represent the Bureau now. I think it's just important to put that out there in the public so that we can change, one, the interest by African Americans to join the Bureau, and also change those folks who might think that African Americans are not deserving of a position like this. I think it was important to educate the public on the role that African Americans play in the Bureau and how successful I think that we've helped to make it. I'm just honored to be a part of this message that the Bureau is attempting to reach folks with. I always like to talk to kids who may have had the same struggles that I've had, or even to young adults who may be choosing their career or feel like there's no way they can dig themselves out of whatever they've gotten themselves into. I just feel honored to be a part of, and hopefully a real life example that you can overcome adversity and still do great things for the country and for your community. You just have to stay focused and believe in yourself and surround yourself with good people and treat others with dignity and respect, and also be willing to learn about others. I think that's just an honor for me to be a part of that.